So this image is dense with information, and every time I look at it, I know something new about it. That just makes me, it just makes me so much more invested in this world this artist created. So I kind of want to go through each of these things one by one, and let's start with just the basic storyline here. So you've got sometime in the near future, the US government will create a vaccine force that gives mandatory vaccines to everyone. But this vax force has a ton of tools at its disposal, such as a drone. A drone, so it can see all the people from above, so it can survey the land and find the unvaccinated people, I guess. I don't know why they need a drone. It's like the size of a dog. It is massive. It's huge. I'm assuming it's behind this little group of people, and it is the size of their torsos. I have no idea why people who give vaccines would need a drone. And speaking of people who give vaccines, are these like doctors or are they soldiers? They're dressed in full SWAT armor, but they just give vaccines. Or maybe not. Maybe you give vaccines. Maybe you're the only one who actually gives vaccines in this universe, because no one else has any shots on them anywhere. They cannot administer any vaccinations at all. Only you can. So I guess you're just a doctor who comes along with this group of fully armored police officers. Why do they get full armor, but I don't get anything? This feels like an oversight. They have gloves and batons and walkie-talkies and helmets. I don't get that. I just get a jacket, I assume, that says mandatory vaccine on it. I hold it up, I look at it, I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? And I could just look down my sleeve and it's like mandatory vaccine, and it's like, oh yeah, of course. Thank God they labeled it. That's my first theory. My second theory is that this whole thing is a marketing scheme. Because if you look on the sides of the sleeves and the armored trucks, it says USA Incorporated on the side. So I think this is someone was like, hey, why don't we turn the government into a business? They make it a company who makes clothes. They make it a clothing company with mandatory vaccine around the sleeves as marketing. How Under Armour has the logos on it. Yeah, it's just like that. They're just a clothing line. And so they just sell those. And also run the whole government like that. That's pretty cool. That's a massive megaphone on the top of this armored car. I don't get that. Why do you need a siren on your vaccine force vehicle? Maybe it's all part of the toy line. US Incorporated puts out this toy line with all of their police vehicles, with all their vaccine force vehicles, and has this massive megaphone, because, that's what kids like, are massive megaphones on top of their cars. Maybe. It's little stuff I don't get either, what's this up in the corner? There's this guy, this police officer. So, everyone else is dressed for the apocalypse, except for me and this one guy standing in the back with a gun. He has a gun. What does he do with the gun? Who does he shoot? Does he shoot these, passers-by? He's looking at them like he's about to shoot them. The sidewalk is a different color than the rest of the asphalt, and also there's tons of sand everywhere. There's this little section that the normal guy is standing on that is completely covered in brown. I think it's sand. I love how it says mandatory vaccine on the side of the truck. It doesn't say vaccine force. This isn't branding. This is telling you, what this vehicle is carrying. Why does a mandatory vaccine force need tasers, batons, and walkie-talkies? I assume they have tear gas. I assume they have the full might of the military. I like to imagine they call in airstrikes occasionally to really get rid of the anti-vaxxers. I also have the second, substantially less interesting picture that's still in like the same general style. So I want to talk about this one. So it's from the perspective of someone who administers vaccines at a mandatory vaccine checkpoint. What's really funny to me about this one is the mandatory at the top is like stapled on. Like they couldn't fit the whole thing on this little sign. I don't know if that's USA Incorporated who couldn't do that, or if it's just the person who photoshopped this. Yeah, like I do a double take every time. Okay. Let's set up some ground rules for this universe real quick. So I believe that the previous image and this image are a part of the same exact universe. They are exactly the same. You are the protagonist. You are the main character who administers vaccinations for a vaccine force sponsored by USA Incorporated, by the USA Incorporated mandatory vaccine clothing line right now. And so you're at this mandatory vaccine checkpoint. What happens here? So all the cars are stopped so that the police officers can look in your car and then decide, are they vaccinated? Nah. So they remove the baby, they remove the mother, and your job is to give this baby medicine. But why? Why are there spotlights? Like, those are super bright and super big. You know, usually for street lights you expect them to be much smaller than that. I realize there's a lot of glare going on, especially from the mandatory vaccine checkpoint sign, but that is massive. That is a massive glare. Not to mention, they have helicopters. Why do you need helicopters? It's the same thing with drones. How are people, like, if you're higher up, can you tell if someone is vaccinated or not? Is that just something nobody told me? If you're like a couple feet above the ground, can you see, oh yeah, that one's vaccinated, that one's not though? Does it give you like infrared vision? But specifically, and somewhat limitedly, for people who are or are not vaccinated. So they have these people in helicopters who are like super far up in the air. Like the drone was a couple of feet off the ground. These people are super far up in the air. And, you know, in the other one, you could kind of argue that it was them, like, surveying the place, surveying the environment. Not here. They're not surveying anything. The perspective on this one's especially weird. This guy's super high up, this guy's super low. It's like he doesn't have legs. Wait, is that Hitler? Who is that? Oh no, that's Martin Luther King Jr.